Elliotte Friedman's latest episode of 32 Thoughts fuels the Pettersson Trade Fires even further, explaining how two teams are still very much in the Superstar Sweepstakes. And Elliotte also reveals the truth on Jim Rutherford's bombshell comments from last week's press conference. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any and all updates surrounding the Canucks as we head into a big game against Dallas tonight. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is two teams enter the Pettersson Sweepstakes. Now, these aren't two teams that are newly entering these sweepstakes, but the fact that they are still in the sweepstakes. We got Elliotte saying on 32 Thoughts, saying that the Sabres are still working their way through what they want to do with Pettersson, still thinks they are in it. The Blue Jackets can trade for Pettersson if they want to, can see them looking at what they are building and being hesitant to trade, and also saying that teams are betting that wherever Pettersson ends up, he will be better off. So the last one of there, I think, is a pretty, it's not a blasphemous statement entirely. I know a lot of people, like we even said yesterday, I personally was saying how if you let Pettersson go to another team, he's immediately going to be one of the top players on that team, if not the best team, and being in a system where he is allowed to just be an unbelievable superstar, and the team will be truly built around him, especially if he goes to a team like Columbus, who will have the cap space, more than enough cap space, to account for a contract the size of Pettersson with the caliber of player that he would be bringing to the team. But also saying how the Sabres and Blue Jackets are still in it. He did go further with an exact quote saying, I think Buffalo is still working its way on what it wants to do with Pettersson. I still think they're in it. I still think they're weighing what they want to do, whether it'll happen or not. But Columbus is another team that if they want to make that deal, they can. Now, it's pretty interesting here where you have two teams that if they want Pettersson, they can go out and get him. Buffalo is a bit more in a tougher spot because they're trying to work out ways that they can get him. Whereas Columbus, if they wanted to, they could probably just go right up to Jim Rutherford and Patrik Allvin's office and slap a lowball offer on the table, and they would probably take it because odds are we're going to be getting a lowball offer for something on this trade or getting fleeced at the very least. And Patrik Allvin and Jim Rutherford seem like they're going to take any deal that comes their way within a certain reason. However, that certain reason is still going to come at a cost. As far as what Jim Rutherford was saying and what Elliotte revealed on the truth that, we're going to get into that in a second. But sticking with Pettersson as well, going to a team like Columbus where they can build around him. I know what I said yesterday. I said they were a terrible team where, yes, they've historically been terrible, but if you give them a team like Columbus, giving him a player like Pettersson, you put him there with a team that is slowly building something really interesting there where, yeah, they're rebuilding piece by piece. But if you give Pettersson to them, that is a massive piece where you can rebuild there. And then Vancouver, what are they going to be left with? Not really too much to go off of except untapped potential, and that's really all these teams have to offer us. There's really no proven entities with these teams that we are talking with the Sabres, Columbus. Carolina was our best bet, but that ship has sailed. New York has been still a possibility for a certain other player, but that ship is still kind of sailing. So yeah, with this, Vancouver really isn't going to be getting a superstar for a superstar in a blockbuster trade. They're going to be getting draft picks and some untapped potential with potential players that could blow up and be 40, 50 goal scorers in a season or so. But are they going to be able to do it? That's remained to be seen. We know what Pettersson can bring. We know what JT Miller can bring. We know what Brock Boeser can bring. We know what a lot of these players already bring to the table. So for the Canucks to take these offers, yeah, you're getting younger guys that are probably going to be healthier. And yeah, they have a lot of upside. But are they going to be able to fulfill that upside? That is a thing that I have always been very, very cautious with when we've been talking about these JT Miller and Elias Pettersson trades. And that's part of why I've been on the fence of saying keep these guys, because what you're going to go out and get is not going to be what they're worth, and you're just going to be getting rid of them just to get rid of them and to move on from the future and not have this be a problem, which is understandable to a point. But don't compromise the integrity of your team and what you have built to this point and what you guys were a season ago and what you guys still can accomplish if you do keep these guys together and they are able to get something clicking. We are now in a playoff spot, in that wildcard spot, with the potential to move up to third place in the Pacific or even more and make a push for the division, hopefully by the end of the season. But if you get rid of Pettersson, you get rid of Brock, you get rid of JT Miller, and you get rid of these pieces, you're going to be stuck in a very difficult situation. And that was what Jim Rutherford was kind of hinting at in last week's press conference. And that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is Friedman reveals the truth to Rutherford's comments. So we see here where he said that Rutherford's interviews were a message to the market be prepared for trades and think that it might not be as good as a return as you like or think, and that both Miller and Pettersson have nearly been traded once each, Miller to the Rangers, Pettersson to the Hurricanes. So the second of which was covered right there, where he says that both of them nearly been traded once each, and those deals did fall through. As far as JT Miller, that's going to be an entire video on its own. We did already talk about Pettersson and the Hurricanes and that potential already falling through. But as far as Jim Rutherford's comments, Elliotte did have some interesting insight to say. That to me is a message to the market saying, get ready. This is what we're doing. He's warning everybody. Be prepared for the possibility of this. He's also saying why, and that it might not be as good a return as you might like or think. And that was like it's like when HR comes to tell you that layoffs are happening and no one's going to be happy about it. It seems to be the case here with Rutherford's comments last week. We did cover it when those comments dropped in a video. If you guys want to go and check that out, that is on our channel as far as what we thought about it. I had a very strong take on it as far as the volume of what he was saying. I don't fault him for being honest, but just the way that Rutherford went about it, it was a very blatant shot at a lot of elements of the team. Where, yeah, I get where you want to just set the record straight on things, but there's a certain way to go about doing it. And I know Jim Rutherford, he's done this all before. Elliotte even said it too. He's been through this rodeo. He knows how to navigate the media. However, there was an interesting meme where I saw earlier today that I couldn't help but laugh at, where it was a Parks and Rec clip and they're talking about like who broke the statue or whatever. And then it's going around Jim Rutherford, Patrik Allvin, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, all the way around. And in the end, it was Jim Rutherford. He's the one who created this problem and is the one that is projecting this problem all the way over. Is he the one who created the problem with the players? No, that's a whole other separate issue that was created entirely by themselves. But how the media has reacted to it and him even lighting this fire further, where guys like Elliotte have been able to go to extreme lengths with their trade proposals or their ideas or their rumors, where Elliotte got suspended for an entire month from talking about the Canucks and JT Miller because of the whole initial Byron and Cousins trade proposal with Buffalo. So for Rutherford to be coming out here and saying, hey, we're going to be making this trade, you guys aren't going to like it, but we need to just move on. That's something where you look at that, and a lot of people in conversations I've been having, whether on camera, with Mark, with other people that I see in everyday life, and we talk about the Vancouver Canucks, the main thing that comes up is management. Every time, it's not the players, it's not the coaches, it's management. And when you look at the management, it's between Patrik Allvin and Jim Rutherford. Mark and I have had very different opinions on it. He's on the side of maybe you keep Rutherford and get rid of Allvin, or maybe, and whereas I'm on the side of saying that Rutherford is probably the problem, whereas Allvin, yeah, he's been making a lot of moves, but Jim Rutherford, he's very, very trade happy. And it seems like he's going to get very, very trade happy in the next coming months when it comes to JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and potentially Brock Boeser if some teams come knocking. And I'm very scared that he's going to be very eager on that trigger or to press that red button and execute this trade. But if that happens, that could be leading us to a situation where, do we go into a rebuild? Yeah, but does it result in maybe a change in management? Probably. Especially if this blows up in Jim's face, he'll probably be the one that gets axed through all of this. But what do you guys think down in the comments below? Let us know what you guys think on the truth behind these comments. Do you think that's exactly what it was that he was saying? Or do you think there's something else there? Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. That's going to take us into our final topic of the day, which is comment of the day. And in a time where the comments have been very polarizing and very loud and passionate, and we appreciate all the passion. We did get a very nice comment saying, first comment, keep uploading, make good vids, and brighten up my day. We always appreciate comments like this where it is either having you guys helping you guys have a better day, or you just really appreciate the comments, or we just have really good back and forth with you guys in the comments, whether we're agreeing on a take, disagreeing on a take. There is still some really good banter back and forth in the comments, and we always appreciate seeing what you guys put. I know we don't always respond and like every single comment, but we do read them nevertheless, and we always appreciate the support. It just generates more connection and more communication around this Vancouver Canucks team. I know with the way the trade rumors have been, a lot of people haven't been enjoying that we have been in the trade rumor mill as much as we have been, but it's still been interesting to talk about all these scenarios and to see where this Canucks team could be going, just because we are so passionate about this team and we want nothing more than the ultimate goal, and we all have the same goal in mind of seeing the Vancouver Canucks hoist that Stanley Cup one day. If it's not this season, hopefully next season or at some point in our lifetimes. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss the new episodes. But with that, I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.